The Caspian Night, the pilot who couldn't he forget? The Caspian stretched below me, endless and dark. Cold wind slapped the cockpit. I gripped the controls tightly. Alone. Routine patrol, or so I thought. That night, everything changed. Something impossible emerged from the darkness. I saw it first as a glimmer on the horizon. Bright. Unnatural. Not like any aircraft we knew. I adjusted altitude. Closer. Closer. It hovered silently, almost studying me. I froze, heart hammering.
Alexei, report. My co-pilot's voice cracked over the radio. We see nothing unusual, he added nervously. But I could feel it. It was there.
I tried to radio command, but static swallowed my words. Fingers shaking, sweat on my brow. This was no drill. Something or someone was observing us. Not human.
Alexei, be careful, Lena's voice echoed in my mind from the old tape recorder at home. A reminder of warmth. A life I might lose.
The object moved with impossible speed, darting and hovering, disappearing behind clouds, then reappearing over the Caspian near the oil rigs. Lights pulsated. Hypnotic. Terrifying.
Alexei, how are you seeing this? My co-pilot chatted. I nodded as though he couldn't see. Words failed me.
Minutes passed for hours. Time twisted. Training screamed identify, report, return, but instinct froze me. Something ancient was watching. Judging. Suddenly, the object shot skyward and vanished into darkness. Silence. Silence. My instrument spun useless. The Caspian below whispered secrets I couldn't grasp. I realized then my life had changed. Forever. Upon landing, Kamen awaited. Cold eyes. Questions with no answers. What did you see? They demanded. What did I see? How could I explain the impossible? That night, alone in my quarters, I stared at the ceiling. Lights over the Caspian. Silent. Watching. I knew I had to be careful. The KGB would notice. They always noticed. I whispered into the dark. If they knew, they'd destroy everything I love. Handshook. Maps and notes scattered across the table. No one could know. No one.
Sleep, Alexei. Tomorrow they will question you again. My co-pilot murmured over the line. I nodded, though sleep was impossible.
Outside, the wind carried secrets across the Caspian. I felt the gaze again. Not human. Not friendly. The real challenge had just begun. Morning brought grey light over the base. I sat at the small desk, tracing coordinates of the previous night's encounter. Every detail mattered. Every risk counted.
Lena appeared in the doorway. Alexei, you look exhausted. Are you hiding something from me?
I shook my head. I am just tired, long night. My mind raced, replaying the impossible lights, the silent hover, the way they had watched us. I had to be cautious. KGB was already observing.
Major Petrov appeared, sharp and cold. Alexei, follow me. Immediate questioning. Don T. be late. No options. No warning.
In the interrogation room, the questions came fast. Every word measured. Describe what you saw, every maneuver, every light. Who else was there? I spoke carefully, revealing nothing that could compromise me. Yet every movement ID made, every thought was being logged. Tracked.
Petrov leaned closer. Your family's safety depends on your full cooperation. Don T, forget that. I felt the weight of the threat. Subtle, but unmistakable.
Back at my quarters, I reviewed my notes, trying to find patterns. Flight times, light behavior, possible landing points. Every page a step closer to understanding or danger.
Later, Dmitri approached quietly. Be careful, the glow is not alone, and neither are your watchers.
He handed me a folded note. Coordinates, times, and a warning, trust no one openly. My stomach tightened. Everything had escalated beyond imagination. I moved under the cover of darkness, checking the aircraft. Frost on the wings, wind slicing across the tarmac. Every shadow could be eyes. I whispered, I need to move fast. Over the Caspian, the faint glow appeared again. Hovering, almost beckoning. Heart hammering, I followed, weaving through clouds, evading radars. Freedom felt close. Danger closer. Suddenly, radar showed a shadow. Unmarked. Panic shot through me. The aircraft shuddered. Detection? Or something else entirely? I banked sharply. Shadow vanished. Relief was fleeting. Northern wind picked up. Storm clouds closed in. Frost spread on the windshield. Every second mattered.
Lena's voice whispered in my memory, come back to us. Her words were a lifeline, and a torment. The risk was unbearable.
Hours later, the distant outline of snow-covered mountains appeared. Alaska. Free air. No KGB in sight. Freedom. I touched down on the frozen strip. Engines quiet. Trembling. Heart pounding. But joy was fleeting. My family still remained in the USSR. They were under watch. Danger followed them. This was only the beginning. The morning sun barely pierced the grey clouds over the base. I moved quietly through the hangar, checking the aircraft. Every sound echoed, every shadow seemed alive. Paranoia had taken root.
Lena S. voice, recorded on the old tape, whispered in my mind, "Alexei, please be careful."
I rubbed my eyes. Fatigue clawed at me, yet I couldn't rest. The glow haunted my thoughts. The KGB's presence felt heavier. Everywhere I went, I felt their eyes.
Heathrow appeared suddenly. "Alexei, a word." His tone was sharp. "Command is concerned about your conduct. You need to explain your patrol logs immediately."
I nodded carefully. Of course, Major. Inside, my mind raced. Any slip, any hesitation could mean disaster. Later, walking back to the quarters, I noticed colleagues avoiding eye contact. Whisper stopped when I approached. Trust was thinning. Isolation tightening. At night, the glow appeared again over the Caspian. Silent. Pulsating. Hypnotic. My fingers trembled on the controls of my imagination, tracing its movements. Wondering what did it want? Watching me. Testing me.
Lena S. recorded voice cut through my thoughts. "You are not alone, Alexei. Remember, we are together."
But alone felt like an understatement. Isolation was suffocating. Every creak of the floor, every distant shout, every shadow was a potential threat. KGB. The glow. Unknown forces. I had to survive.
Dmitri approached cautiously. "I've noticed unusual patterns. The glow isn't random, and neither are they. Someone is watching more closely now."
I took the folded note. Coordinates times, new instructions. "I can trust anyone," I whispered. Every choice carried risk. One wrong move into. I spent hours analyzing flight maps, radar reports, and the glow's behavior. Patterns emerged. Yet the more I learned, the more danger I seemed to attract. This was no ordinary surveillance. Night fell. Outside, the wind howled across the Caspian. I climbed into the cockpit. Frost on the glass. Fingers tight on the yoke. The glow pulsed faintly. It was a guide or a lure. I had to find out. Taking off, I followed the shimmer across the water. The cold bit my face. The horizon seemed endless. Radar flickered. My heart hammered. I whispered, "What are you?" And the silence answered. Suddenly, another aircraft appeared on radar unmarked, moving fast. My instinct screamed, evade. I banked sharply. The glow remained ahead, constant. The shadow vanished as quickly as it appeared. Relief was brief. The game had changed. Touching down hours later, I felt the weight of the night. The glow's message remained unclear. But one thing was certain, the KGB was closer, and so was whatever was watching me. And I knew my decisions from this point on could decide everything. The grey morning light fell over the city, but the usual hum of routine felt fractured. Lines at the stores stretched longer than ever, whispers of shortages and rumours filled the air. Yet my mind was elsewhere, tracking the glow, every detail, every anomaly.
Lena approached with a worried glance. "Alexei, someone came by while you were at the base, left a note."
I unfolded the crumpled paper. No signature. Just coordinates and a warning, tonight, alone, dawn to be seen. My pulse jumped. This was no ordinary threat, it was deliberate. Someone was testing me. I glanced at Lena. "I need to go, I can explain." She nodded, her face pale but resolute. "Be careful."
At the base, Dmitri intercepted me. "Alexei, the glow isn't just a light. It is signaling patterns, frequencies the radar can't catch. You need to see for yourself."
I followed him to a hidden hangar. Engines idled in the shadows. The night air was sharp, biting through the fabric of my jacket. Every step echoed, a reminder that eyes were everywhere. We took off into darkness. The glow appeared just beyond the horizon, pulsing, almost alive. I adjusted altitude. The pattern shifted. Someone or something was guiding it, manipulating it. And I was caught in the middle.
Dmitri murmured over the intercom, tension thick in his voice. "Be ready, they're re-watching. KGB knows more than you think."
Suddenly, lights flashed below a patrol helicopter. My stomach dropped. Dmitri whispered, "Evade, fast." I rolled the aircraft, following the glow as it darted, taunting, leading me through a maze of clouds and shadows. Minutes stretched like hours. Each maneuver was a gamble. Every radar ping could betray us. Then a signal different from the glow crackled through the radio. Not human. A voice? Or interference? My hand shook, but I held the yoke steady.
Back home, Lena's voice echoed in my memory. Alexei, come back safe. Don't disappear from us.
I glanced at her photograph on the dashboard. Determination surged. No longer just observation. Action. Strategy. Survival. Every choice now could mean life or death. When we landed, no one awaited us. Silence. But outside, shadows lingered. Letters, whispers, and strange signals. The pressure was mounting. The real game had begun. The barracks were quiet, but sleep eluded me. Maps and notes lay scattered across the table, each mark a puzzle piece I couldn't fit together. Something was calling me, but not from this world.
Lena's voice haunted me from the tape recorder we kept. Alexei, be careful, I feel it too. Her tone trembled, though she was miles away. Every word pressed against my chest.
I stared at the ceiling, seeing patterns and shadows. Flickers of light, almost whispers. My training screamed ignore, rationalize, report, but instinct whispered differently. There was a presence, something observing, something patient.
Dmitri met me at the hangar, urgency in his eyes. Alexei, last night, Escloet repeated a sequence, most like coordinates for a warning. I don't know, but it is not random.
I followed him outside. The sky was empty, stars sharp, wind biting. And then a faint shimmer. Almost invisible. The glow returned. Hovered. And this time, it pulsed with a rhythm I could almost understand. Alive. Intentional.
It is studying us, Dmitri whispered. Or testing us.
I clenched the controls. Questions raced. Why me? Why now? What did they want? Every instinct told me to flee, but curiosity and the weight of the unknown rooted me in place. Later, alone in my quarters, I tried to sleep. Dreams came in fragments, a humming sky, shadows moving against the wind, Lena reaching out to me as if through another dimension. I woke with a cold sweat, convinced something beyond comprehension had touched my mind.
I imagined her voice softly. We were not alone, Alexei. And I knew, even if the KGB discovered nothing yet, there were forces far older, far more patient, watching my every move.
Morning arrived, grey and oppressive. The base routine continued, officers moving like ghosts, but my focus shifted inward. Patterns in the glow, the signals in the air, the notes from Dmitri, they all converged into one impossible truth. I was at the edge of something that could not be contained by earthly rules. And yet the KGB remained the immediate threat. Every step, every glance could betray me. The world had grown twofold, one visible, controlled, the other hidden, unknown, demanding my attention. The sun had barely risen when the knock came. Heavy, deliberate, echoing down the corridor. My heart sank. I knew who it was before opening the door.
Alexei, come with us, a stern voice demanded. Not Petrov this time, higher rank. KGB. No invitations, no warnings. Just authority wrapped in cold menace.
I followed silently, each step measured. Fear clawed at my chest, but I forced calm. Questions raced. What did they know? Did someone betray me? Was Dmitri safe?
In the interrogation room, they spread maps, photographs, flight logs before me. Explain every movement, every deviation, every sighting, the glow, the lights. Do not lie, Alexei.
I swallowed, voice steady despite trembling. I observed a light over the Caspian. It moved unpredictably. Nothing I recognized. I reported everything I could.
They lean in closer. I shop, calculating. Your family, your friends. Do not think we will ignore their safety. Compliance is suggested.
A cold weight settled in my stomach. Threat veiled as concern. Every instinct screamed, escape, hide, resist. But every muscle stayed still. I had no choice but to answer carefully. Hours passed. They asked, probed, circled my words like predators. Each question a test. Each answer could tip the balance. My mind raced, calculating lies, half-truths, distractions. One slip could destroy everything.
Later, at the barracks, Lena's voice whispered in my mind, "Be strong, Alexei, you have to be careful." I clutched the letter she had sent me, worn and folded, a lifeline amidst the cold.
I returned to my quarters, shivering not from cold but anticipation. Shadows seemed to move differently. The glow outside, unseen but felt, pulsed like a heartbeat. I was being watched from both worlds.
A colleague, Dmitri, slipped a note under the door. Trust no one. They are patient. They will wait for a mistake.
I read the coordinates, the times, the strange symbols. A hidden language in the glow. My hands clenched. Decision forming. Action required. Waiting no longer felt safe. Night fell when carrying secrets across the Caspian. I stood by the aircraft, inspecting every gauge, every control, every lever. Tonight, I would move. The KGB's shadow loomed, but beyond it, freedom, or something that might destroy me. I whispered to the dark, I will not be trapped, not by them, not by what comes. And I felt it again, the presence beyond comprehension, watching, waiting, judging. The real journey had just begun. The day started grey and silent. I met Dmitri behind the hangar, shadows concealing us. His eyes held urgency, but also something I hadn't noticed before, hesitation.
Alexei, he whispered, I've found a way to get you closer to the truth. Tonight, a secret route. Coordinates in this folder.
I took the folder cautiously, fingers trembling. Every instinct screamed caution, but hope flared. Finally, a path forward. A chance to act. Hours passed. I studied the maps, traced the route over the Caspian, noted patrol patterns. The glow as previous positioned matched strange anomalies on the charts. Something or someone was guiding me.
Dmitri leaned close. Trust me, follow these coordinates tonight. No one must know.
I nodded. My heart pounded. The night promised danger, but also possible revelation. I felt alive in a way I hadn't in weeks. Action over fear. At dusk, I slipped from the barracks. Shadows wrapped around me, every step a calculated risk. The aircraft awaited, engines humming like a promise. My hands tightened on the controls, senses razor sharp.
But the moment I took off, alarms echoed faintly through the base. My blood ran cold. Dimitri's words now rang strange, too rehearsed, too precise. Something was wrong.
The glow appeared ahead, beckoning, pulsing like a heartbeat. I banked left, following its rhythm. Yet, beneath it, an uneasy nod. Had Dmitri truly helped or betrayed me? Radar flickered. A marked blip appeared behind me. Not human. Not expected. My mind raced. Escape or confrontation? I couldn't risk it. Every instinct screamed, survive first, question later. Touching down at a remote airstrip, I found the folder empty. Coordinates gone. Notes vanished. Betrayal cut sharper than the winter wind. Dmitri had handed me over, or perhaps someone else had intercepted.
Alone, I whispered to Lena's voice in my memory, I won't fail, I will find a way, always. Tears stung, but resolve hardened. I couldn't trust anyone now. Only my own judgment, my own hands could guide me.
The glow shimmered faintly in the distance, as if mocking or inviting. I clenched the yoke. Night embraced the Caspian. The journey forward had become even more perilous. Every shadow could be a trap. Every ally a threat. And yet, a thought burned in my mind, freedom, understanding, survival, it was all within reach. But the cost? Unknown. I would not fail. Not now. Not ever. The Caspian Night stretched endless and silent. I returned to my quarters, exhausted, yet restless. Every shadow outside whispered warning. Every thought circled the same inescapable truth, I could no longer stay. Maps sprawled across the table, pens and notes scattered. Flight routes, patrol schedules, possible escape corridors, every detail scrutinized. The glow from previous encounters pulsed in my memory, a guide and a threat entwined.
Lena's voice echoed in my mind, be careful, Alexei, promise me. Her concern weighed heavily, yet strengthened my resolve. They had her. They had everything I loved.
I planned meticulously. Every night patrol, every supply run, every schedule anomaly was a potential opportunity. I marked refueling points, mapped radar blind spots, and calculated risk windows with precision. Every second mattered.
A colleague, unaware of my full plan, whispered caution. Alexei, they watch everything. One misstep, his warning left no ambiguity. One misstep could end it all.
Night fell. Alone in the hangar, engines humming softly, I inspected the aircraft. Each lever, each dial, every panel memorized. Escape wasn't just about flight, it was about timing, stealth, and deception. The glow appeared faintly through the hangar windows, distant yet almost sentient. It pulsed in rhythm with my heartbeat. I whispered, guide me if you can. I rehearsed the takeoff, tracing imagined flight paths across frozen waters, calculating turbulence and patrol proximity. Thoughts of Lena and my child sharpened my focus. Fear transformed into determination.
Lena's memory grounded me. They cannot have you taken, promise me, Alexei. Every word reinforced my resolve. This wasn't merely escape, it was survival, it was love, it was freedom.
Outside, the wind carried icy whispers across the Caspian. I listened, attuned to every sound. Footsteps, engines, shadows, signals of threat, or perhaps opportunity. The night was both ally and adversary. By dawn, the plan crystallized. Every risk accounted for, every variable tested mentally. The only unknown, the reaction of those who watched. KGB eyes hidden patient, relentless. And yet, the glow remained distant, a silent witness. With a deep breath, I whispered to the night, tomorrow I take flight, and nothing will stop me. The night was still, but my pulse raced like a storm. I climbed into the cockpit, gloves tight, fingers gripping cold metal. Frost lined the edges of the windscreen, catching the dim glow from distant lights. Every sound amplified, the hum of engines, the whisper of wind, the distant crush of waves on the Caspian. The hangar doors groaned as I eased the aircraft out. Shadows flickered across the ice, as if warning me, or maybe simply marking my passage. I whispered to myself, no turning back, not now.
A sudden crackle over the radio startled me. Alexei, you know the risks. Dmitri's voice was low, urgent. Once you leave, everything changes. One wrong move.
I nodded, though he couldn't see. I know, I have to do this. Engines roared to life. Throttle forward. Wheels lifted. Cold air whipped against my face, carrying the scent of ice and oil. The Caspian lay below, dark, silent. The glow appeared again, distant, guiding me. Almost like a beacon. Radar readings flickered. I adjusted altitude, banking carefully, eyes darting to instruments in horizon. Every second stretched tense, fragile. I could feel eyes tracking me, KGB patrol scanning the skies. Every maneuver was a gamble.
Lena's voice pierced my mind. Come back to us, Alexei. Please be safe.
I clenched the yoke. Her words burned into my focus. Ahead, the northern horizon shimmered faintly. Freedom. Or death. The line was thin.
Suddenly, a blip on the radar. I'm marked. Too fast, too close. My stomach tightened. Not now, I muttered. The aircraft trembled. Threat or coincidence? I could not tell.
I banked sharply, weaving through clouds. The glow stayed ahead, unwavering. Every heartbeat echoed like a drum in the cockpit. Ice crystals formed along edges. The wind howled through open sky, cold and relentless. I was alone, but not alone. Minutes felt like hours. Distant mountains appeared, snow-covered. Alaska. Safe air. No KGB in sight. Relief mixed with dread. Lena, my child, my family still in the USSR. The real danger was not over. I touched down on the frozen strip. Skidding across ice, engine screaming, heart pounding. Trembling, exhausted, alive. The glow faded behind me, distant, almost approving.
Lena's voice, warm and fragile. You did it, you survived, Alexei.
Yet joy was fleeting. The weight of truth pressed down. The KGB would not forget. My family remained under their grasp. Freedom was only a beginning, not the end. The Alaskan dawn broke over snow-covered peaks, pale light scattering across frozen plains. My aircraft rested on the icy runway, engines quiet now, smoke curling into the frigid air. I stepped out, boots crunching against frost, lungs burning from cold and adrenaline. Freedom felt surreal. No radar, no patrols, no shadowing eyes. Yet a hollow pit grew inside me. My family remained thousands of miles away, behind an invisible wall of power and fear. I was free, but they were not.
Over a crackling radio, a voice from American authorities greeted me. Alexei, you've arrived. Sit tight. We need debriefing. The tone was cautious, wary. Trust would be tested, I knew, as soon as I spoke.
I exhaled, letting the cold wind bite my face. I have nowhere to hide, nowhere to go, I muttered. Every map, every note, every flight log still lay in my quarters. Everything could be traced back to me. I trudged toward the small outpost. Snow whispered beneath my boots. The weight of the past hours pressed heavily on my shoulders. Thoughts of Lena and the child filled me with a mixture of longing and guilt. Could I ever bring them here safely? Inside, agents observed, paper shuffled, questions poised like knives. Every answer mattered. Every hesitation could betray trust or provoke suspicion. I was a pawn on multiple boards. Hours passed. Debriefings, interrogations, silent calculations. I realized escaping the USSR was only step one. Step two, the impossible task was to bring my family here, alive and touched by KGB hands. Night fell. Outside, the aurora painted the sky in green and violet streaks. Beautiful, serene. Deceptive. I stared at the lights, thinking of the Caspian, the glow, the eyes that had followed me. The same force, the same mystery that had changed everything. A single thought repeated in my mind: they are still in danger. I cannot turn back. I must find a way. My hand shook as I traced the lines on my flight map. Every route, every signal, every contact weighed heavily. Time was not on my side. I looked out at the frozen horizon, heart heavy, I steeled. The wind whispered of choices yet to come. Every second mattered. Every move counted. One wrong step, and all would be lost. And then, with a mixture of fear and resolve, I understood escaping had given me freedom, but the story was far from over. The real challenge, the mission of my life, had just begun.